to the Senate under the Constitution, we have an oversight role over the counties. And oversight means that you look at the performance of the counties in terms of service delivery, in terms of utilization of funds, in terms of how well they are representing the interests of the people of that county. What kind of projects are they doing? Are they relevant to the people? It's a whole host of an oversight role. And you will find committees like Peak and Park are some of those committees that will interrogate audits, accounts, when papers are laid in Parliament, in Senate, giving the accounts of how a county has utilized the funds. You'll find that that is the role of the senators. So when a governor who has been immediately prior to his end of office then over as a senator in the county, then you have what you would call maybe a conflict of interest. Because, for instance, assume that senator is appointed to Peak or Park. Once they are appointed into those committees, then they bring the audit reports of that county and they call for substantiation of things that were done in that county 5 years before. How do you think that senator will judge or make decisions regarding whether utilization of those funds was correct or not correct, or if there is a scandal, what happened in that scandal? You definitely have a conflict of interest there, and it's immediate.
Yes.
So maybe then the bill looks at whether the law left a gap when it did not define whether such a governor should be allowed to transcend into Senate. And we have quite a few who have now joined Senate.
Do we have, for instance,
we have several.
Do we have, for instance, any instance where a former governor has been summoned by the Senate to explain? Because audit reports usually come after the fact. Yes. Someone has already left office and an audit report is conducted.
You know, Senate would have a right to interrogate those accounts and even summon them to come and give an account of what happened before. So that bill then, I would think that's the thinking of my colleague, Senator Chimera, that we need to tidy up legislatively to make sure that you give us space to ensure proper accountability of any function that a governor undertakes. Now, if you look at how IEBC commissioners are how the rules are structured around IEBC commissioners taking their functions at the IEBC, you will notice that they are normally barred after they leave office.
Yes.
Like a commissioner cannot go to vie tomorrow because it is assumed that that commissioner, once they exit the IEBC, they have they understand the whole system. They know the people who are running that system. And maybe there could be a possibility that a bad person or a bad commissioner or an unethical commissioner could misuse that system if they vie, and that means they would have an unparalleled advantage against other candidates. If they competed 10 of them and one of them is a former commissioner, then this one who worked with IBC will have very unparalleled advantage over and against other candidates. I think that is the kind of thinking that is around that. And maybe when you look at governance, good governance, corporate governance, it would be okay. It would be okay. But it's a conversation that Kenyans need to have. That how accountable do you want a governor who's been in charge of billions of shillings after the exit office? How do you want that governor to come back into other offices? Would you like them to come back immediately? Do you think we have processes? Do you think we have systems that would ensure that the checks and balances would ensure by the time they are leaving office, they don't have any queries or they have answered all the queries that would have been asked to that county government?
Okay.
I think it takes us back to the conversation of how strong are our checks and balances of the services and utilization of the resources that are being sent to the counties.
Yet it would also raise some fundamental issues